Okay, so going through question 4, a solid metal sphere of radius 6 centimeters is melted down and remolded into a solid cone of radius 3 centimeters. So it means that the volume of the sphere is going to be equal to the volume of the cone now. So first of all, I'm asked to find the volume of the sphere in terms of pi. So volume of sphere is 4 over 3 pi r cubed. So I have volume is equal to 4 over 3 pi bracket 6 to be cubed, and I get my volume is equal to 288 pi centimeters cubed. That's question 4i. Then it says part 2, find the height of the cone. Okay, so if the sphere was remolded to make the cone, the volume has to be the exact same. So I have here my volume of my cone is equal to 1 over 3 pi r squared h. So 1 over 3 pi, my radius of my cone was 3 to be squared h, has to be equal to 288. Pi, I divide across by pi, and then I multiply 3 to be squared is 9. 9 by 1/3 will give me 3h. And that's equal to 288. I want to find 1h in its own, so I'm going to divide across by 3, divide across by 3, and I get then h is equal to 96. Question 6 then, I have a cone of radius 10 centimeters has the same volume as a cylinder with height 8 and a radius of 4. Find the height of the cone to the nearest millimetre. Okay, so volume of the cone is equal to 1 over 3 pi r squared h. The volume of a cylinder is equal to pi r squared h. Okay, so I have pi r squared h is equal to, right? So I have 128 pi is equal to the volume of my cone, 1 over 3 pi r squared h. Okay, so I have then 128 pi is equal to 10 to be squared is 100 over 3 pi h. So I get 128 is equal to 100 over 3 h. I want to get h in its own, so I'm going to divide across. So I'll get 128 divided by 100 over 3, and I'll get my height is equal to 3.84 centimeters, but I want it in the nearest millimeters, so I'm going to multiply this figure by 10 to put it from centimeters to millimeters, and I'll get 38.4 millimeters, and the nearest millimeter then is going to be 38. Okay, on to question 8. So it says a count in the shape of a cone on top of a cylinder. The cylinder has radius of 4, the slant height of the cone is 5. Find the height of the cone. Okay, right, so first of all I drew out a rough diagram of the cone to show me what I had. I have the radius is 4, my slant height is 5. I need to get my height of the cone, so I'm using my Pythagoras theorem. So I'll have a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared, x to be squared plus my 4 to be squared is equal to 5 squared, x squared plus 16 is equal to 25. I get x squared is equal to 25, take away my 16, and x squared is equal to 9. Then I get x is equal to the square root of 9, x is equal to 3. Part 2 then, it says find the volume of the cone in terms of pi. So volume of a cone is 1 over 3 pi r squared h, and I get volume is equal to 1 over 3 pi, or my radius was 4 to be squared, my height we just found out was 3, and in terms of pi I get my volume to be equal to 16 pi. Part 3 then, it says the height of the cylinder given that the volume is 10 times the volume of the cone. I have the volume of the cone is 16 pi, so then if the other shape is 10 times this, I multiply 10 by 16 pi, and I get 160 pi is the volume of a cylinder. So my formula for the volume of a cylinder is pi r squared h, and that's equal to 160 pi. So I have pi, my radius is 4 to be squared, my height is h is equal to 160 pi. I divide across by pi, and I have 4 to be squared, which is 16, h is equal to 160. Oh, here I made a mistake earlier, I had 5 as my radius, so I need to divide across by 16, divide across by 16, and I get my height is equal to 10. Question 10 then, I have a cylinder tank of radius 12 is partly filled with water. A sphere of radius 6 is completely immersed in the water. By how much will the water rise? Okay, so I just drew out 2 rough diagrams of my shape. My volume of my sphere is 4 over 3 pi r cubed. The volume then of this sphere, because it's after increasing basically the volume of my water, because it's completely submersed in this shape, okay, so the volume of this is going to be equal to the volume of the water that it takes up. So I have volume is equal to 4 over 3 pi, my 6 to be cubed, and it's 288 pi. Right, so now I have the volume of the cylinder. Okay, so I'm getting the volume of the cylinder is equal to pi r squared h. So I have pi 12 to be squared h is equal, I'm putting it equal to the volume of the sphere because that's what we're trying to find out, how much did the sphere increase the height of the water. So I'm looking for the height of the water at this particular value. So I have 12 to be squared is 144h is equal to 288. I get my height, then I divide across by 144 and I get the height to be 12. Or sorry, 2. Question 12 I have here then, a closed plastic container is in the shape of a hollow cylinder on a hollow hemisphere. Below, both have a radius length of 3. The container is partly filled with water to a depth of 10 centimeters. Find the volume of water in terms of pi. So I'm going to have to get the volume of my cylinder and the volume of my hemisphere. So volume of cylinder is pi r squared h. So this here, the full height is 10 of this water, but I know that this hemisphere has a radius of 3, so that means that going down this way it also takes up 3, so the hemisphere is going to be 3, so that means 10 take 3 to find out what height the cylinder we're actually dealing with is 7. So I have pi 3 to be squared 7 and I get 63 pi for my cylinder. My hemisphere, the formula is 2 over 3 pi r cubed, so I have 2 over 3 pi. My radius is 3 to be cubed and that's equal to 18 pi. So then the total area of water is going to be the two figures added together, 63 pi plus 16 pi, and I get 81 pi. Part 2 then says, if the container is turned upside down, what will the depth of water be in the cylinder part? Okay, so my formula for a cylinder is pi r squared h, and I have depth of water that we have so far is equal to 81 pi. I'm letting it equal to that to find out the height that's left over in the remainder of the shape. So I have pi divided across by pi, and I'm left with my radius is still 3 to be squared. My height is what we're looking for, is equal to 81. So then I'll have 9h is equal to 81. I want h in its own 9, and I get the height that's left over is going to be 9.